Hi, this is Organic Chef Tom. Today we're going to be making organic apple crumb muffins. And these aren't your typical dessert muffins. These are nutritious breakfast muffins or snack muffins. We have all organic ingredients here, and with the concentration on that, these are going to be healthy muffins for you. They're not super sweet. They're on the low end of the sweetener. You can change that if you want. I'll tell you how to do that later. But they have a lot of good ingredients in it. First, we're going to do the crumb topping. And this I have in here already 3/4 of a cup of whole wheat pastry flour. And we're using that instead of white flour because it's more nutritious, because it's all whole wheat, it has the whole wheat in it. And whole wheat pastry flour, and I used a pinch of sea salt in here, gold sea salt we're using, and a 1/2 teaspoon of cinnamon. And that's all we need here. And in here, I have 2 tablespoons of maple syrup, 2 tablespoons of oil. We're using sunflower oil, but you could use the oil of your choice. And I have a teaspoon of vanilla. And I'm just going to give it a quick stir to get them mixed up. And just pour it in here. And what we want to do is we want to make it a crumbly mix, almost like the start of when you do a pie crust. We want it to be just small to medium crumbs in here for the topping. And we're going to use this at the end after we finish the muffins. When you mix it up a little bit, then what you have to do is use your hands to crumb it up. Right? If you find it's not crumbing, then into little crumbs, then you could add a little more flour to it. Or if it's too wet, you add more flour to it. If it's opposite, then you could add a little more oil to it. So we'll put that aside because we're going to use that towards the end. And now I'm going to finish the apples. I cut up all the apples, but I just wanted to show you how to cut the apples, because that's probably the most time-consuming part of this. The apples, I cut them. First, I skinned the apple, took the peel off, and you could use a paring knife or you can use a potato peeler. Works great on it. And then I cut them in 4, cut them in half, and then half again. And then I'm just going to take out the core like this. You could use a paring knife if you want. Just take that part out, and then because it's thick, you want to have a little small cube. So I'm cutting this in half. Oh, by the way, these apples are Honeycrisp apples. They're organic Honeycrisp apples, and you can use apples of your choice. You can use Fuji apples. You can use Granny Smith apples. It just depends if you can find something at a reasonable price. So I'm just going to cut this like in slices first, and then turn it around and just cut it into cubes. Right, and so it takes about 2 apples, and it depends on the size of the apples, but about 2 cups, more or less. You can do it a little less, or you can do it a little more. So it doesn't have to be exact, because apples are all different sizes. So that's all. I got that. So we have about 2 cups of apples here. This was exactly 2 apples. All right. And then we have the flour. And it's good to sift the flour. It makes the cake lighter, or the muffins lighter. This could be a cake also. It doesn't have to be muffins. You can make it in one cake pan. And it's actually easier that way, but we're going with muffins today. And what I did was I sifted it. I have just a strainer. It's a single mesh strainer. And I did this as 1.5 cups of whole wheat pastry flour. And I'm going to add, for a little lightness to it, 1/2 cup of white unbleached all-purpose flour, right? And you just hit it a little bit, and it'll just come through. And if there's any left at the end, you could just hit it with your finger. Okay, and then we're going to add, since we have the strainer out, we'll just add all the rest of the ingredients right through the strainer. We'll have baking powder. It's a non-aluminum baking powder. And you would use, in any cake recipe, you would use a teaspoon per cup of flour. So we have 2 cups, and you could use a little rounded. So we have 2 cups of flour, so I'm using 2 teaspoons of the baking powder. And then we're going to use 1 teaspoon of baking soda. And it's a different leveling quality when you use baking soda. You need to use, if you use baking soda, you need to use some lemon. We're going to use some lemon here because it reacts with acid ingredient. So you could use vinegar, but it doesn't taste so good. So this, I'll just sift this through too. And then we're going to add a teaspoon of cinnamon to it. Put in a nice teaspoon of cinnamon. And that's all it is for the dry ingredients. Just a little bit of salt, like 1/8 of a teaspoon of salt in it. All right, you want to put too much, but a little bit brings out the sweetness. Make sure that the baking powder is all mixed up in it, or you'll have some muffins that are bigger than other muffins. And okay, that's good. See, it's so much lighter when you sifted it. But if you don't have a sifter, you could do it without a sifter. It's okay. You do it whatever you have. Okay, that's that. And we're going to have the liquid ingredients. And right now I have 1 cup of soy milk in here. This is silk soy milk. We like it because it's thicker, but you could use any soy milk or almond milk or coconut milk or, you know, the milk of your choice. Okay, so we're going to use 1/4 cup of oil. And we're going to use maple syrup in it. You can use rice syrup in it. This is really good in it too. It's not quite as sweet. So we need 1/4 cup. And I said, you can change this. I said, if you think this isn't sweet enough for you, because it's on the low end, you can lessen the soy milk to 3/4 cup of soy milk and increase the sweetener, liquid sweetener, to 1/2 cup. And we need to put some vanilla in it, so we're going to put in 1 teaspoon of vanilla. This here is 1/2 teaspoon, so we're going to use 2. 1, 2. Okay. And we're going to stir this up. We're going to stir it up using a whisk. A whisker, or you can use, if you don't have a whisk, you can use an electric mixer or a stand mixer. But it's if you're not using eggs in a baking dish, a dessert dish, then you need to whip some air into the liquid to make up for the eggs, not using eggs in it, which this way is a healthier way to do it. What you do is just whip it until it's bubbly. Once it's bubbly, then we're going to add it to the dry ingredients that we have mixed up already. This is the batter. We're going to add the nuts and stuff after we mix this up. First goes the liquid into the dry. And we're going to just wet all the ingredients first. And then we're going to give it a little whisk, but we don't want to do it where we're bringing out the gluten a lot by mixing it, because there is a white flour, it's all-purpose flour, so it does have gluten. If you could find a white pastry flour, would be better, but it's hard to find, so that's what I didn't use that. But then we'll just give it a stir with the whisk. Make sure it's mixed up good. Okay, then we're going to add the raisins and the nuts to this mix. So we have raisins, half a cup of raisins. This is optional. You don't have to use raisins. You could use dried cranberries if you want. You could use nothing. And this is a half a cup of nuts, and I'm using pecans today. You can use walnuts. Would be good. And then we have the 2 cups of apples. So there's a lot of ingredients in it, but they're all nice and healthy ingredients. So we get it all mixed up. Then we're going to put it into these muffin pans, and this muffin pan is a stainless steel muffin pan, and they're hard to find, but you could get them from Natural Lifestyle Market. It's much better than having an aluminum pan, or definitely don't want to get a non-stick pan. But we are using papers in it. These are natural muffin papers. Okay. So this this is actually a tablespoon, and I'll use this to get it off of it. But you want to try and get it all in the muffin paper versus on top of the muffin pan, so you don't have to clean the muffin pan. And 6 of these now, and then I'll fill the rest of them, and I'll put it in the oven at 350 degrees, and I will check it in 30 minutes and see if they're done. I'll show you how to tell when they're done. And it usually takes, from my experience, it usually takes 5 minutes more. So it usually takes 35 minutes. Then we're going to put in the crumb topping. And you're going to press it in slightly, but not, just so it doesn't fall all over the place, which some of it's going to fall anyway. Right, and let's put them on there. That. Crumb topping is a nice addition to it. Okay, now we're going to put it in the 350 degree oven for 30 minutes. And I'll show you how to tell when they're done. The muffins are done. I took them out of the oven. I checked it in 30 minutes, and they weren't totally done. So it was 35 minutes that it took. And the way you tell if it's done is you just press on the top, and if it springs back, it's done. If you goes down and it feels a little gooey, 5 minutes more. So I would check it in 30 minutes, and it always takes me 35 minutes, but every oven is different. You could tell on the cake even better. This was the leftover batter. And you could see it just springs back. That's definitely done. So they're looking good. And I can't wait to try one. They're actually better when they're cooled. But we are not going to wait. Okay, here we go. Oh, I made a cup of sencha matcha tea, which is green tea, and matcha tea, which is the tender new leaves of the plant, and it's ground up. They're ground into a fine powder, and it's added to it. You could get matcha plain too if you want to just drink matcha. It's higher in caffeine content, but it's a different type of caffeine than coffee. Sencha tea has about it goes coffee, and then English tea is about half the amount of caffeine, and then green tea is about half of that amount of caffeine. And matcha is a little more, but it's also mind clearing too. But you don't want to drink it in the evening anyway because of that content. But let's see, I let it sit for 3 minutes. Just right. Okay, gonna peel the paper away. Seeing there's no mess in the muffin tin, and we're gonna try Try this. Looking good. See, rose up nice. Good. So enjoy your muffins.